Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live from Downs Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. Here to bring you live coverage of today's high school varsity girls lacrosse contest between the visiting Rockets of Needham High School and the hosting Brookline High Warriors. Should be a fun matchup between these two Bay State Conference rivals, and I am not bringing this broadcast to you alone. Joining me on the mic here today is my color commentator, Brookline High freshman Sam Lowenstein. Sam, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me on today. My first Brookline boys or girls lacrosse game, and the Warriors getting off to a 1-3 start. So far on the season, they had an opening day win. Been getting contributions from a lot of their different players. They've had a strong season, but they have dropped 3 games straight, so this will be an important bounce back matchup against Needham.
Indeed, and on paper, advantage seems to point to Needham. Brookline finishing with a 6-11 record last year to finish 18th in the MIAA Division I power rankings. Needham finishing with a better record and ranking at 10-7 and 11th in the power rankings. But what do we always say, Sam? You don't play these games on paper, you play them on the field. And so we'll see how this one plays out here today. And with a little less than 7 minutes on the pregame clock, let's take a look at the rosters of the two teams coming into today. And we'll start on our right over here with the visiting Needham High Rockets. Looks like they'll be wearing their dark blue jerseys with white jersey numbers. Going in order of jersey number for Needham, first off we have a junior defender, number 1, Molly Perlman. Next, a sophomore midfielder, number 3, Lila Jansen. A junior midfielder, number 4, Cecilia D'Amelio. A sophomore attacker, number 5, Francesca Adams. A freshman midfielder and defender, number 6, Grace Sullivan. A freshman attacker and midfielder, number 7, Callan Soletto. A junior defender and midfielder, number 8, Marin DeNicola. A freshman midfielder, number 9, Samantha Horvat. A senior midi and co-captain, number 10, Semi Bonacia. A senior defender, number 11, Gianna Moreski. A junior midfielder, number 12, Francesca DePaul. A junior attacker, number 13, Addie Stedman. A junior defender, number 14, Cameron Peabody. A junior defender, number 15, Lisa Trutayeva. A senior defender, number 16, Ella Rosenbaum. A senior attacker, number 18, Carolina Brinkhouse. A senior defender, number 19, Jill Peabody. A senior midfielder and attacker, number 20, Lisa O'Leary. A senior defender and co-captain, number 22, Hannah Patey. A senior attacker and co-captain, number 24, Emmy Verville. A senior defender, number 25, Courtney Tobin. A senior attacker and co-captain, number 28, Sophia Mead. And a junior goalie, number 30, Olivia Lashinsky. Head coach of the Needham High girls lacrosse team is Lindsay Hope. So that's the roster for Needham. Now let's move over to our left, take a look at the home team, Brookline High Warriors. The Warriors wearing their white jerseys with dark blue jersey numbers and red outlines today. Going in order of jersey number for Brookline, first off, we have a junior defender, number 2, Sylvie Costant-Greeley. Next, a senior defender and co-captain, number 3, Sydney Bueno. A junior defender, number 4, Sasha Harwin. A junior defender, number 5, Scarlett Rothstein. A senior defender, number 6, Sophia Liu. A junior attacker, number 7, Amalia Lindgren Palm. A freshman defender, number 8, G.G. Hawkins. A junior defender, number 9, Elin Lindgren Palm. Senior attacker and co-captain, number 10, Birdie Hawkins. A freshman attacker, number 11, Emma Hassenstein. A sophomore attacker, number 12, Lily Kleinbaum. A freshman midfielder, number 13, Nia Karain. A junior attacker, number 14, Priscilla Hill. A freshman midfielder, number 15, Sophia Safar. A junior attacker, number 16, Clara Tebow. A junior attacker, number 17, Maya Schwartz. A senior attacker, number 18, Lauren Fish. A senior midfielder and co-captain, number 19, Maggie Tien. A sophomore midfielder, number 21, Serena Yankowitz. And a sophomore goalie, number 26, Karin Bueno. Head coach of the Brookline High girls lacrosse team is Juliana Malloy. So those are our rosters coming into today. Remember, folks, if there are any names you'd like to correct me on, I encourage you to do that in the live chat. And anything else you would like to say in the live chat, whether you want to root on your favorite team or players, if you notice any technical difficulties with the video or audio of the stream, or if you just want to comment on the action of the game going on so far, or, as I said, if you want to correct me on any names, I encourage that audience participation, either in the live chat here on YouTube, or if you're not able or not comfortable with accessing the live chat, you can also send me an email. You can see my email in the bottom right corner of your screen. Just over a minute left on the pregame clock. And this one should be a fun one. And Sam, like you said, your first time covering lacrosse. And, so what's the experience been like for you, each time you do a new sport? Because you've, really widened your repertoire of different sports that you've covered since you first started working with me.
Well, Jesse, I feel like whenever I'm learning a new sport, it's just getting down the strategy of the game that's being played. Of course, getting to know the rules, of course, before commentating it. But really the big difference is figuring out the team strategies and the strategies that most teams employ, not just a specific team. Really a clear understanding of the game, which happened a lot in soccer as we covered a ton of games together throughout that great run that the Brookline girls team made to the semifinals.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more there, Sam. And it's one of the things I really love most about it is that when it comes to the strategy, it almost feels sometimes like a puzzle, like when you notice something for the first time and you start to and in your mind it clicks like, oh, that's why they're doing this thing that they're doing here to try and, either set up to score or to try and prevent the other team from scoring or what have you. Whenever you unlock that new bit of knowledge as, a bit of an outsiders that we are as broadcasters, it can be so cool to unlock that new puzzle piece, so to speak.
Most definitely, Jesse, and that really shows that we're getting an understanding of the game to another level, and really the fact that, and often it translates to the team doing well.
Absolutely. And, what it also translates to is that the better we understand the game, the better we can explain it to the fans tuning in. And then the better they can understand and appreciate the game. So the more we appreciate it, the more that appreciation spreads to the rest of the fan base for that sport. Because one of the unique things about high school ball is that you get a significant number of fans that probably wouldn't otherwise tune in to the sport if not for the fact that a family member or a friend is playing the game. And so, it helps to be able to explain even some of the basic stuff. So sometimes even coming in as a layman and figuring stuff out, that can help relate and translate to those fans that might not otherwise be watching as much.
Most definitely, Jesse, and at the end of the day, that's one of the big things that we aim to do. One, to get reels for players for their highlights, but also just so grandparents, relatives can tune into these games, and if they can understand, if we understand the game, then they can understand, and then that increases the appreciation they could possibly have for the game.
Absolutely. Co-captains meeting at midfield with the officials in preparation of the game. And it'll be interesting to see how things play out. And I will say, having covered just the first 2 games of the season for Brookline, their 13-10 win against Newton South and their 10-7 loss to Natick, one of the things I hope to see from this team is a little more depth of scoring. We know that their co-captains, Maggie Tian and Bertie Hawkins, are excellent offensive players for this team and a real dynamic duo. And Sam, as a first-timer, I think you're going to enjoy watching those two play off of each other the way that they do on offense. But as someone who's been following this team, I really hope we get to see a little more depth of scoring, that we get to see some of the other players step up in a big way, whether that's some of the youngsters like freshman Emma Hassenstein or sophomore Lily Kleinbaum, or some of the more veteran players like juniors Clara Tebow and Priscilla Hill and Amalia Lindgren-Palm. You know, we'll see. It'd just be good for the team if they can get a little bit more depth beyond just their 2 big superstars against this Needham team here today.
Well, because, Jesse, we discussed before the game the strategy that Brookline often employs where they aim to circle around the crease and then find somebody as soon as there's a double team. If they can get more depth of scoring, that strategy is going to be much more effective.
Exactly. And based on last year's result, this could be a real nail-biter. Last time these 2 teams faced off, last year in Needham on April 11th of 2024, the Rockets got the win on their home turf, but just barely, as they edged out Brookline 9-7. So a very narrow margin between these 2 teams last year. And so we'll see what kind of matchup we get here today once they take the field. We're starting a little bit behind schedule. We were scheduled for a 4 p.m. start originally. And I think Needham hit traffic on the bus ride over here. You know, those 4 p.m. starts are so hard to hit with how late school gets out these days. You know, I'm always surprised if a team manages to get a 4 p.m. start on time more than anything. But folks, we thank you, of course, for tuning in here. And if you know of anyone that you think would want to tune in to this live stream, we highly recommend that you send them the link to this live stream so they can tune in and watch this game. We got our first note in the live chat from Adrian Fricky, a very simple Go Warriors. As we got a beautiful looking day here today, very sunny out, but also very windy. So it's almost a deceptively nice day, as it is quite cold. Temperatures around the low 40s, high 30s, with a significant wind chill. I was talking with you about this before the game, Sam. My rule of thumb when I come out to these outdoor games is always dress as if the temperature is 10 degrees colder. Because in New England, it'll do that to you, and it'll do it to you real fast.
Most definitely. And Jesse, you're the one who suggested for me to wear at least 2 layers, and I'm super grateful because otherwise this would be really difficult. I remember last year we had a baseball game. It was out in Dorchester on the ocean front, and that game was super cold. It was a spring day, super sunny, but bitter cold.
That East Boston wind out by the airport, it'll kill you. But we're gonna keep trucking through this game. We're dressed as warm as can be. And the thing is, sports parents, they already know this. Like they learn this, from when the kids are. The cold sneaks up on you fast. Should reconnect real quick. Looks like, yeah, reconnected real quick, so that's not too bad. But like I was saying, you know, I can't wear gloves, so I have to bring hand warmers to these outdoor games. But one thing I found that really helps is that if you dress with a proper coat, if you keep your core warm, that can help even keep your ungloved hands just that little bit warmer, because your body is going to prioritize your core when it comes to warming it up. Not only are like your fingers and toes the furthest away from your heart in terms of like the blood veins and everything, but also it's the lowest priority in terms of what your heart is going to try and warm up when your body starts to get really cold. Because you think about it, you know, if your hand freezes over and it doesn't work anymore, you can still live. Like but if, say, like your internal organs start to freeze over, that will kill you. So your heart is going to prioritize warming up your core before warming up your outer extremities, as it were. So dress warm, dress in a big coat, and even if you forget the gloves, it'll still help your hands be just a little bit warmer. That's your survival tip for the day.
That's Jesse's tip of the day, and an important one too. Especially in this early spring weather, it can be warm one day, but the next it can be bitter cold. And it's really been, Jesse, the last couple weeks. It's been up and down. We've had a couple 60, 70 degree days, but then back to this, a couple 40 degree days this week.
Warmest day of the week last week, and I was covering volleyball indoors. I wanted to kick something. I was like, you know, why couldn't this indoor day have been literally swapped around with one of those outdoor days where I was freezing my butt off? Gotta love New England.
As we get set for the game here, Brookline huddling up, Needham out on the field.
Indeed. Two teams taking their spots, the goalies taking their place between the pipes. Olivia Lashinsky for Needham, Karin Bueno for Brookline, as we get ready for the opening draw of this game. The two draw takers set up at midfield here. 12 minutes on the clock for the first of 4 quarters. Brookline and Needham here in this Bay State Conference matchup. And here we go. The opening draw. Down on the ground, and a whistle is blown, and they give it to Needham. The Rockets with the opening possession of the game, and they start working around. Pass goes down to number 13, Addie Stedman, as they work it around behind the net. Passing back around to the top. With the ball, number 10, Sammy Bonacia passes it over to number 24, Emmy Verville, and that pass missed. A quick turnover as the pass intended for Francesca Adams misses badly.
Well, they're Needham trying to work the ball to the left side primarily and work it around.
And now Brookline transitioning, and the hit from Adams draws a whistle, so Sydney Bueno gets to keep running with the ball. Now facing the double team, has to pass out of it, just barely gets it away, juggled a bit, but collected by Sylvie Costin-Greeley. Costin-Greeley trying to escape the defensive pressure, lost the ball off a clean hack there from Stedman. And a whistle gives it to Needham. Number 3, Lila Jansen with the ball. Passes, now approaching Bonacia, trying to fight around, but gets swarmed by defenders and has to retreat back to reset the play. Passes away to Jansen. Jansen starts working it around the back. Adams with it. Pass out to number 20, Lisa O'Leary. Now up top to Verville. Across to Jansen and around, and they work it, looking for that opening. Stedman over to O'Leary and to Bonacia. Up top, this is Verville. Verville approaching, spins off her defender, charging in, shot disrupted from behind. Great recovery by Sydney Bueno. Needham will keep possession as they were closest to the back line after the shot, and they go right back to work. Bonacia begins her approach. No openings, looking for a pass, deflected. Good coverage there by Costin-Greeley, but the loose ball recovered by Adams. Now coming from around the back, a shot is saved by Karin Bueno. Stedman tried to sneak one in, and Bueno said no.
Stedman nearly turned that one around from the left side, tapping it in, but it was blocked.
Karin Bueno, the sophomore netminder in her first year as the varsity starter between the pipes for Brookline. She makes a good save there. Now looking for an outlet pass. Throws one up the middle, complete to Lily Kleinbaum, but knocked loose quickly by number 8, Marin DeNicola, and it's picked up by the Rockets again. Number 28, Sophia Mead, with the ball. Throws the pass over to Adams on the right side. Along the back to Stedman. Stedman trying to approach from behind and nowhere to go. Floats it back to the top to Bonacia. Bonacia looking to go off a screen, trying to find her way through. Lost the ball. It's knocked behind the net. Stedman keeps it in bounds and recovers it. Pass away to Verville. Cross to Mead. And to Jansen. Jansen walled off. Gives it back to Mead. Mead back to Jansen. Jansen looking to approach. Pass across to Mead. Mead pass inside, finds Verville, who finds the back of the net.
Well, there Needham working it from right to left. Brookline was able to force him to the far left side and up and around throughout the beginning of the game. But that time the Rockets able to work their way from the left side into the center to get an open shot.
Emmy Verville on the score for Needham, assisted by her fellow co-captain Sophia Mead, as the Rockets take the 1-0 lead to start here in the first quarter with 8:15 on the clock. Brookline made a number of good stops to start, but they couldn't ever seem to clear it out when they got the ball. The transition game seems like it might be a struggle for Brookline.
Most definitely, and also, Jesse, we talked about before the game the combination of Maggie Tehan and Birdie Hawkins. That duo is going to have to come alive for Brookline.
Well, they haven't even had really a chance to possess the ball because Brookline hasn't transitioned, and a false start called against Sophia Safar on the draw, and so Bonacia takes it off the violation, passes ahead to Jansen. Jansen running with it, passes out to Verville, and they start working it around the circle. Adams with it, pass out to Mead. Up top, gives to Verville. Verville, cross to Jansen, to Bonacia. Down to Adams, across the back. Wind gusting here at Downs Field as they work it back to the top. Still passing around the horn, looking for an opening as Bonacia coming across the top here. Spins off one defender, but the help is there, nowhere to go. Tries to spin off her defender again and just flips it over to Mead. Mead moving to her right, pass deflected. The outstretched stick of Elin Lindgren-Palm that time, creating the deflection, but that's out of bounds off Brookline, and Needham keeps the ball. Pass now goes out to Jansen. Jansen up top, Bonacia. Throws it back to Jansen. Flips it over to Verville. Verville approaching, pass down low, deflected again. I think that was Lindgren-Palm again, but it's recovered by Stedman. Pass out Bonacia. Bonacia spins, approaches, shot, could not get off, as I think that was Elin Lindgren-Palm once again disrupting the play.
Well, it's been a couple of times now, but that Bonacia has been able to spin inside and get a shot off. She hasn't had any success on goal just yet.
And now the pass from Adams out to Bonacia, a little high, and it bounces. And we got a whistle blown against Brookline. I guess Hawkins, maybe her foot went over the line there, or maybe she touched it earlier or something. I'm not sure. It looked like she was about to recover that one, but no luck for Brookline early here as Needham has been living in the attack end here through the first half of the first quarter with 6 minutes now on the clock. Bonacia. Pass down to Adams. Across the back. Coming out of the back. Stedman. Shot is saved again as Bueno walls Stedman off for the second time.
Well, Jesse, you said Brookline needs to get out of needs to get on the attack. They haven't been able to get out of their own half, even into the neutral zone so far.
A push against Sydney Bueno as she is running with it. Needs to find a passing outlet. And another hit. Bueno will keep it. Close to midfield now. Pass to the middle to Costin Greeley, who sends it ahead to Serena Yankowicz, who weaves around one defender and runs it into the attack area. Brookline on the attack for the first time today. Pass up top to Maggie Tien. Excuse me, ma'am. Can you move back? Thank you. Brookline with the ball behind the net as they work it around the horn. Up top they go. Ball's given to Maggie Tien, who floats it over to Birdie Hawkins. Throws it into the corner to Lily Kleinbaum. Kleinbaum running it around to the top. Gives it back to Hawkins. Hawkins starting her approach off the screen. Pass given. Oh, it missed. Was trying to find a cutting Maggie Tien, but they missed the connection and lost it out of bounds.
Well, there Lily Kleinbaum set a screen for Brookline, flipped it over to Hawkins before a failed exchange, but this is the first really offensive life that Brookline has had this game.
And we'll see if they can get another offensive chance quick as Sophia Safar with a nice interception in the neutral zone as a whistle blown against Needham. Big takeaway by the freshman Mitty that time as she is running up with it. Looking around for a passing option now as Brookline quickly gets another offensive chance to try and tie this game. Clara Tebow pass it over to Maggie Tien. Now over to Hawkins as they start to work it around the horn. Yankowicz gives back to Hawkins. And across to Tebow. Pass juggled by Safar, but recovered, but knocked loose. Kleinbaum fighting for that ball, and the whistle is blown against Needham. So play stops, and Kleinbaum will get set. Just going to keep going. Pass inside. Shot is in. Clara Tebow ties it up for Brookline off a nice assist from Lily Kleinbaum.
Well, there after the foul, Kleinbaum passed in, and Clara Tebow had a running start there right in front of the net to smash it home.
Big answer for Brookline after they had been dominated in the possession game for much of the first quarter. Kleinbaum finds Tebow for the game-tying score. And with 3 minutes and 6 seconds on the clock here in the first quarter, we're all tied up at one apiece. And that all started with a big interception in transition by Sophia Safar that allowed Brookline to get another chance.
Most definitely. She was able to change the game there for the Warriors, and then sooner or later, Brookline was able to really set themselves in the offensive zone.
Draw control is won by Safar. The freshman working wonders for Brookline's transition game as she draws a couple whistles to bring that ball into the attack area. And Brookline gets set on offense. Hawkins running it down the right side, passes to Kleinbaum. Kleinbaum passes along the back as they start to work it around. Goes back to Tien. And Kleinbaum again. Kleinbaum. No openings. Passes to the corner to Hawkins, who runs it around the back. Hawkins pass to, I think, Tien from behind. Pass it back out to Tebow. Now over to Kleinbaum. Floats pass over to Yankowicz now. Yankowicz, nowhere to go on that approach. Pass out to the corner to Hawkins. Hawkins along the back. Tien surveying her options. Nothing's coming open and so far. Trying to make something happen herself. Lost the ball, but drew the whistle. And I think this will be a free position chance for Maggie Tien.
Well, after that run by so far, Brookline has just been absolutely in control of this game, continuing to dominate in the offensive zone. Now a great chance on the free position.
Tien charging in, shoots and scores. Maggie Tien with her first goal of the day, and Brookline takes the lead.
Well, Jesse, we talked about the importance of the duo of Birdie Hawkins and Maggie Tien. Birdie Hawkins making a big impact offensively for Brookline, and Tien getting that second goal for the Warriors. So here, Brookline now up 2-1.
And after that, those first 6 minutes, who would have thunk it? Brookline seemed like they just couldn't get out of their own end for the first half of this quarter. But again, a few really great transition plays by the freshman Sophia Safar gave Brookline the chances they needed, and then their offensive players, Kleinbaum, Tebow, and Tien, have come through in a big way. Off the draw, it's won by Hawkins. Hawkins pass to Safar. Safar trying to weave around. Lost the ball, knocked away clean by Stedman, but Brookline stays with it, and it was recovered by Scarlett Rothstein as a whistle is blown. Rothstein passes it across the line into the attack area as Brookline with another offensive chance. Approaching, a shot missed wide as it's starting to bounce out of bounds. Oh, it didn't even roll out of bounds, and Needham chased down the ball. They're fighting for that loose ball deep into the corner, but ran out of room along the sideline, and that gives it back to Brookline. A bit limited visibility for us, but Brookline takes it back. Hawkins takes the pass from Hassenstein and starts her approach, trying to spin around, spinning around again. No openings. The help defense came, but now she's trying to reset again, gets hit, and draws the whistle, and I think this will be a free position chance for Birdie Hawkins.
There, Emma Hassenstein was lining up just behind Birdie Hawkins, and Hawkins, Jesse, has really been playing more as a facilitator mostly, rather than straight scorer.
Well, she'll have a chance to be a straight scorer here, and lost the ball, but the whistle blown once again against Needham, and it'll be another free position chance for Hawkins. I think she got hit by O'Leary that time. Hawkins lining up like she's just going to fire from distance. She does and misses wide, and they give it to Needham.
Hawkins just whipping it a bit to the left there, trying to quick shoot it.
And that horn right there tells you exactly why she was trying to whip it. Didn't have a lot of time on the clock, and that is going to be the end of the first quarter. Our score at the end of 1, Brookline 2, Needham 1. Brookline with really a surprise lead after how this game started, but really it's like each team got 6 minutes of full control of possession, and not as much a back and forth as a really long back and a really long forth.
Well, Jesse, the big difference in this game, at least for me, with Brookline and Needham, is that the Warriors were able to get more shots than Needham was in this game. Even though Needham had a lot of control in the offensive zone, they were still pushed around by the Warriors from side to side. They were only able to get a couple clear chances, whereas Brookline, with those numerous free positions, it seemed that they were knocking on the doorstep of the goal really the whole time they had it.
Yes. Although I wouldn't devalue the amount of scoring chances that Needham got, and I wouldn't devalue the big saves that Karin Bueno came up with. She had 2 big saves, and if those shots got past her, then the script would be completely flipped and Needham would have the lead.
Most definitely, Jesse. But also, we talked about before this game, although Needham has the better record from last season, even if it looks like this would be an easy win for the Rockets on paper, you can never count out the Brookline Warriors. This has been a great show so far.
And we'll see what more they have in store for us in the second quarter coming up.
Well, Brookline 2-1 for everybody joining after the first quarter. After the Needham Rockets dominated throughout the first 6 minutes, the Brookline Warriors were able to turn the game around after a good run by Sophia Safar to get it into the offensive zone, and they had a bunch of free position opportunities. The Warriors able to knock home a shot by Maggie Teen, one of their co-captains, for the leading goal to make it 2-1. As it's been a good showing to a 1-3 Warriors team that got their first win but has been in a bit of a slump lately with 3 straight losses. They're looking good so far.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Sam. 12 minutes back on the clock as we get ready to start the second quarter of this contest. Back on the draw. And this one juggled but collected by Birdie Hawkins as Brookline wins another draw. Quick pass to Maggie Tien. Running it in and going to slow it down and get set. Pass across. Oh, almost found Hawkins as she might have had the momentum to charge towards the net for that one. But once again, they're just slightly off on the connection. Safar gives it up top to Tien. And fans, you know from past games that if Tien and Hawkins get perfectly in sync on some of those passes, they'll make magic happen. Just a tiny bit off so far as they get set up on offense. Hawkins beginning an approach, cutting across, goes crisscross with Tien, spinning around, and they were trying to make something fancy happen on a bit of a curl route for Tien, but she just couldn't get open. Hassenstein juggling the ball and barely manages to recover. And it looks like drew a penalty out of it. Pass misses Tien, recovered off the bounce, and a pass inside disrupted. It was a nice recovery by Nia Karain, but the pass into traffic did not work out. And the loose ball recovered by Needham goalie Olivia Lashinsky. Lashinsky's outlet pass is complete. Running with it now is Sammy Bonasia. Untouched into the attack area. As Needham now gets set, but a pass bounced off the foot of Francesca Adams, but she recovers it to keep Needham on offense here. As they start working it around the horn. Still just working it around, looking for something to open up. Mead from the top starts her approach. Help comes. No passing lanes, and she passes it behind the net to Jansen as they work it around the back and start working it around the horn again. Adams throws it up top to Bonasia. Bonasia surveying. Looks like she's winding up to approach. Trying to get around her defender. The help comes. Keeps going and scores. Sammy Bonasia ties it up for the Rockets.
They're Needham, the Needham Rockets. Sammy Bonasia able to get around her defender to hit it in from the right side, but Needham, they've been playing with 2 attackers right behind the goal to keep Brookline honest. Addie Stedman for the entirety playing behind and then having another player rotate in and out to keep Brookline on their toes.
Good efforts by Sammy Bonasia. And not just getting around the first defender, but getting around the help defender. Just shows the kind of speed that she has and the will to keep attacking. And that can be a big difference maker for an attacker, because help defense is the big way that you stop someone just trying to approach with the ball themselves. But if the help can't stop it, then there's not much you can do. Whistle blown against Brookline, and Needham takes possession. Sprinting in with it is Lisa O'Leary. Passes down to the corner to Adams. Across the back to Stedman. Stedman passes out to Verville. Up top to Bonasia. Bonasia, after tying it up, juggles the ball a bit. Now passes it back to Verville. Verville back to Mead. And back to Bonasia. Fakes the flip there, but gets double teamed. Nowhere to go as Brookline didn't bite on the fake. Now Mead trying to approach, turning around. Help is there, floats a pass into traffic. Knocked loose by the Brookline defense. And racing in to scoop up that loose ball. Who else? It's Sophia Safar What a day she is having on the possession game for Brookline as she passes that one over to Hawkins, and Brookline begins their attack. Hawkins around the back, across the back. Hassenstein trying to sneak in. Shot missed. Missed it wide as a defender came at the last second. And it might have been disrupted by the goalie, Lashinsky. Loose ball is recovered by Brookline. I think that's Tien. Tien from behind the net. Pass over to Kleinbaum. As Brookline gets another chance. Corain gives it over to Tebow and to Hawkins. Hawkins across to Kleinbaum. Kleinbaum from the top gives it back to Hawkins. Hawkins starting to approach off the screen. Trying to juke. Lost the ball. Loose ball chased down by Needham's number 22, Hannah Patey. Patey passes ahead to Verville, who takes it into the attack area. Around the back, Adams has Mead open, pass, gets there, and Mead finishes despite the defensive pressure at the last second, and Needham takes the lead.
Well, Jesse, Mead seemingly came out of nowhere. They're creeping up from the right side. Needham making sure to have runners on attack on both sides of the field to keep Brookline on their toes. And that's just a good shot right in the bottom corner. Nothing the Warriors can do about it.
Sophia Mead with her first goal of the day, assisted by Francesca Adams. Mead also assisted on Needham's first goal as the Rockets go back on top in what has been a back-and-forth contest so far. Needham leads 3-2 here with 7:06 on the clock here in the second quarter. Back in the draw circle now, Safar against Bonacia once again. This one low, and it's caught out of the air by Lila Jansen. Jansen throws it ahead to Mead. Mead pass out to the corner to Adams, and along the back to Stedman as Needham starts passing it around the horn here. Surveying their options, seeing where the openings might be. Bonacia starting to approach. Bonacia slips and falls, and it's picked up by Rothstein for Brookline. Rothstein running with it, pursued from behind. Dropped the ball, trying to pass it, but recovers it herself. Now escapes and manages to get the pass ahead to Kleinbaum on the second try. Kleinbaum running it into the attack area, cutting across, trying to cut around, long shot, bounced wide as goes out of bounds, but Brookline kept closest to the back line. They'll keep possession.
Well, Kleinbaum was able to get there because Hannah Padia had her back turned. Kleinbaum was able to traverse field, get an opportunity now for Brookline.
Pass back to Hawkins now as Brookline will start working it around the horn. Brookline trying to tie things up as they trail by one. Tien from behind the net. Opts to pass out to Tebow. Nowhere to go as she gives it to Corain, who drops it but recovers. Gives to Tien. Back out to Hawkins. Once again, Brookline just working it around. From the back, Yankowitz pass, couldn't connect with Corain, and it's taken away by O'Leary. As O'Leary running hard through midfield and into the attack area for Needham. O'Leary pass, finds a target, and Verville finds the back of the net as Needham takes the first multi-goal lead of this game.
Well, Jesse, O'Leary's had a couple of those where she's able to burst through midfield really untouched by the entirety of Brookline to set up an offensive chance. and seems that they've been able to do nothing to stop her so far.
Lisa O'Leary with her first assist. Emmy Verville, her second goal of the game so far. As, you know, unlike a lot of plays we've seen where they run it into the attack area and they just set up in the circle, start passing around, when you see an opening in transition like that, you got to attack it. And that's exactly what Needham did. And Verville from O'Leary gives Needham a 2-goal lead as Brookline calls timeout.
And in the second quarter, Needham has dominated the transition game with players like O'Leary, along with others. They've been the ones making the long runs. And as you said, they haven't even had to set up in the offensive zone, just a quick pass, and that's all it's taken. And that's just been detrimental to Brookline.
4 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock left before halftime. Individual stats so far for Needham: Emmy Verville with 2 goals, Sophia Mead with 1 goal and 1 assist, Sammy Bonacia with 1 goal, and Francesca Adams and Lisa O'Leary with 1 assist each for Brookline. 1 goal each from Clara Thibault and Maggie Tien, and 1 assist from Lily Kleinbaum. Teams coming back out onto the field, and we'll see if Brookline able to make some adjustments to try and get back in this game. They managed to come back from a 1-0 deficit. Can they come back from a 2-goal deficit here?
And the big difference that Brookline is gonna make, or gonna have to make in this game for them to come back, it's gonna be that transition. They're gonna have to dominate the midfield, do a little bit better than they have in the last couple minutes.
Back to the draw, Safar against Bonacia. Off the draw, bouncing on the ground, still being fought for, knocked around, and it's knocked all the way into the attack end for Needham, and Adams swoops in to pick it up, passes away to Mead, as that's one of the longest draw controls I've ever seen, all the way down to the attack end with that one, and deep into the attack end as it got past the first line of players. The Rockets now set up on offense as they start swinging around. Mead looking, setting up on the right, and gives to Jansen. Now Verville flips it back. O'Leary, Bonacia, excuse me. Bonacia looking, floats pass over. This time it's O'Leary, who just stops to go behind the net. Whistle blown. Might have called an off-ball foul. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a free position for Stedman here. Charging in. Shot is high. It can be so tough with those free position chances that aren't like a straight-on angle, because the goalie can just sort of seal off that near side post and make it a much lower percentage shot, as Stedman not able to connect on that one. Jansen floats it over to Mead. Throws into the corner. O'Leary along the back to Adams. Now Stedman. Up top, Mead. Mead trying to spin, looking for a pass. Floats one down low. Bonacia tries a long shot, misses it wide. Out of bounds, but it will stay with Needham as they continue to cover the back line well. Adams running with it fast. Pass out Bonacia. Bonacia looking for a cutting teammate, but nothing coming open so far. Gives back to Mead at the top. Mead, nowhere to go. Flips it to Verville. Verville, long shot wide of the net once again, and again it'll stay with Needham. A lot of long shots for Needham, but nothing finding the back of the net yet.
Well, there Needham trying to set a screen on the Brookline players, opening up a shot opportunity.
Jansen couldn't get an opportunity off that screen, gives it back to Mead. Now over to Stedman and to Bonacia. Bonacia surveying. Now we got another whistle. I think they might have called an illegal screen against Needham. The rare offensive penalty there as Brookline takes the ball back. Karin Bueno looking for her outlet. Still looking. Nothing coming open for Brookline so far. Bueno needs something. Defense starting to rush her now as she passes it away and takes a bit of a hit there, but she gets the pass away to Rothstein. Rothstein into the neutral zone, passes it back to Costin Grilly, who passes it back to Sasha Harwin. Intense forward pressure from Needham as the whistle blown against Verville there for trying to knock the ball out of Harwin's pocket. Passes it across to Bueno. Sydney Bueno now running up with it. Bueno draws contact for another foul and just keeps running with it into the attack end as Brookline gets set. Pass across the back to Kleinbaum. Kleinbaum from behind the net, trying to run around, and the help arrives, cuts her off. Pass to Hawkins. Hawkins, spin move, hits a wall, retreats. And looks like we got another penalty called on Needham, but right as the horn sounds for the second quarter. But because this is a free position chance, they're going to play out the free position for Hawkins. She's just going to get to wind and fire, similar to how we ended the first quarter.
This will be an important turning point possibly for Brookline to get a goal at the end of the second.
And no chance, missed wide. Kind of overcompensated from that first attempt. She missed wide left the first time. This time she misses wide right. And at halftime, our score, the Needham Rockets 4, the Brookline Warriors 2.
Well, Brookline in this quarter, a little bit weaker in the midfield than in the first, where Sophia Safar was able to take control. During this quarter, Needham really, their strength showed out more, and that was a big difference. Lisa O'Leary made a couple great runs across the middle. She was able to really set the tone for the Rockets. Needham was able to do a bunch of quick passes, not even have to set up those quick chances, keeping the Brookline defense on their toes. It just seemed that the Warriors were one step behind Needham.
The Rockets with 3 unanswered goals in the second quarter to take the 2-goal lead into the half. During this halftime break, I'd like to take a moment now for a local charity spotlight. I'd like to tell you about the Brookline Education Foundation. The Brookline Education Foundation raises funds to help promote growth and innovation among Brookline educators, growth that can then be passed on to the children of this community. For over 40 years, this foundation has given out a variety of grants across the educational landscape. These include Ideal Lab grants for teachers that want to present their students with new and exciting projects, and teacher grants for educators that want to further develop their own skills to bring to the classroom. Many initiatives which have become staples in the public schools of Brookline started as BEF grants. They support literacy education training, new methods in STEM education, project-based learning, mentoring of new principals and superintendents, and collaborative work around diversity, equity, and inclusion, just to name a few. Visit brooklinefoundation.org or call 617-232-3846 to find out how you can help support our town's educators and, through them, our students. Once again, that's brooklinefoundation.org or call 617-232-3846. All that information you can find in the description section down below. But for now, we're at halftime. We're going to take a short break here. Halftime is shorter here in lacrosse, but we're going to take a short break here. mute our mics. But we'll be back soon here at Downs Field alongside Sam Lowenstein. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Don't go away. Hello again, everybody. Back on the mic, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan alongside Sam Lowenstein here at Downs Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. Here to bring you the third quarter of this high school varsity girls lacrosse contest between the Brookline High Warriors and the Needham High Rockets. Needham with a 4-2 lead here as we start the second half. And I think we got a false start call against Needham on the draw, and so Brookline will get the first possession of the second half. Sophia Safar gives it to Birdie Hawkins. Hawkins throws it down to the corner to Lily Kleinbaum. Works it along the back to, I believe, Emma Hassenstein. Hassenstein gives now to Hawkins, back to Hassenstein. Hassenstein looking around. Coming out of the back now. Trying to juke out her defender, fighting through. Shot goes high. It was a great try from the freshman, but just not open enough, but Brookline keeps possession.
Well, it looked like Hassenstein got decently open. She just got it a bit over the goal.
Now Tien tries to skip one in, and it's saved by Olivia Lashinsky.
Their Tien trying to bounce it in. Hassenstein went too high. Tien hit it off the keeper's leg.
Actually, I think the keeper just caught it in her pocket.
Keeper caught it, but it nearly hit her leg.
Yeah, exactly.
In that area.
They went high, it didn't work. They went low, it didn't work. The outlet pass disrupted by Brookline. Loose ball being chased after. Still loose. Whistle blown. And they give it to Brookline. So a good takeaway in the transition game there by the Warriors, and now Hawkins from behind the net. Lost the ball, and it's taken away by the Rockets. Another turnover for the Brookline offense. Lila Jansen running with it, swarmed, but spins away. Gets the pass back. And knocked loose by Yankowitz, but not cleanly. As penalty called there as she hits number 19, Jill Peabody. Peabody running with it, floats pass over to number 25, and her pass disrupted by Serena Yankowitz. Yankowitz trying to pick the ball up, and now it's a scramble for the ball, and it's kicked over to Lisa O'Leary by Francesca Adams, and now O'Leary sprinting in, pass along the back. And now Needham just going to get set on offense as things slow down. Stedman a long pass out to Bonacia, now given to Jansen at the top. Over to Mead. Needham working it around the horn. Adams begins her approach, nowhere to go. Pass out, Bonacia tries her approach, no dice. Pass back to Stedman. Along the back, Adams. Now they work it back to the top. Still looking for an opening as Bonacia tries another approach off a screen. Got the switch, spins, but the help arrives. Now we got a whistle.
Brookline's been playing compact on defense. The Rockets have been trying to work their way both from the right and the left side. The Warriors have been able to cave in and stop them, but here a good opportunity for Needham.
Bonacia out of the free position here. Charges in and puts it in. Needham first on the board in the second half as Semi Bonacia scores her second goal of the day and puts the Rockets up 3.
Well, Bonacia's been playing a mix of attacking on the wings and playing from behind the net in the full offensive setup. But they're Brookline doing really the right thing on defense, staying compact, pressing together. But the free position opportunity and the make from Bonacia proving too much.
5-2 the score here with 8:15 on the clock in the third quarter. The draw, bouncing into open space. Players giving chase, and it's chased down by Safar. And it looks like they might have blown the whistle for a violation against Needham, might have stepped over the line into the neutral zone there. Either way, Safar now passes it up to Tien, and Tien runs it into the attack area for Brookline as they're trying to get back in this one. Tien trying to fight her way through, lost the ball, but drew the whistle. And Tien now going to operate out of the free position.
Well, just like that, an offensive opportunity for Brookline, and it's because they were able to get a quick chance through the middle of the field.
Tien winds, fires, scores. Maggie Tien with her second free position goal of the day as Brookline finally stops Needham's scoring streak at 4.
Well, they're Maggie Tien. She's like those low shots today in the game, able to hit it to the bottom left corner and sort of hit it from a little bit behind. The Needham defenders were almost able to catch up to her stick, but Tien able to score there.
2 goals today for Maggie Tien, the senior co-captain. Brookline cutting Needham's lead back to 2 with their first goal since the first quarter. 7:27 on the clock here in the third. Is Brookline hoping they can create another offensive chance to try and cut that lead down to 1. Draws up in the air and bouncing along, and the whistle gives it to Brookline. Tien running with it in transition, or no, Safar running with it in transition, spins off a defender there, fights through and gets hit. And she's able to just keep going out of that one as Brookline sets up on offense. Warriors hoping they can capitalize here off another chance from their midfield squad as they pass it around the horn looking for an opening. Kleinbaum from the back corner now. Pass along the back. Sneaking out the back is Tien. Juking back, shot missed wide. A nice idea, but Brookline not able to get to the back line fast enough as they give it back to Needham. Running with it now. A long pass bounces up to Jansen. Jansen in transition, charging in on the attack. Pass across, Verville hits it off the post. What a hard bounce off the left side post. Off the shot from Verville as she almost got her third goal of the day there. Brookline gets a lucky break that time as Needham now sets up on offense to try and see if they can score their sixth goal for real this time. Jansen trying to spin. Pass up top, Bonacia. And a whistle is blown against Brookline there, and another free position chance for Bonacia from straight up. Tough position for Karin Bueno in net. Charging in, Bonacia scores. Semi Bonacia with her third goal of the day and her second free position score this quarter.
Well, Needham's had a ton of free position opportunities that they've been able to subsequently capitalize on. That's been a big part of why Brookline is down 6-3 here in this third quarter. The Warriors have still played well in this period, but those three position chances have been killers.
Yeah, and it's tough because Needham wasn't really getting any free position looks in the first half, but now they are drawing contact closer to the net here in the second half. Off the draw, bouncing around, chased down by Bonacia. Bonacia running with it. Pass to O'Leary, who passes ahead to number 22, Patty, as they now work it around the horn as they are securely on the attack. A 3-goal lead for the Rockets with less than 5 minutes to go here in the third of 4 quarters. Verville spins, pass to Adams. Adams lost the ball, knocked away from behind, but picked up by Verville. And Verville puts it in out of the chaos.
Verville just picked that one up off the bounce in a dangerous area. She was able to tap it in there. Now 7-3, and Needham really taking control of the game here in the third.
Emmy Verville now with her third goal, and I'll be generous and give Francesca Adams her second assist, even if it was a slightly unintentional assist there, as it was really more a play by the defense. And boy, when the bounces are going your opponent's way and they're building a lead like this, it can be so hard to get the momentum back. Like, your defense makes a good play, and yet it turns into a goal for your opponent. That's just tough.
And that's really been the story of this third quarter for Brookline.
Off the draw, it's picked up by Jansen, passed ahead into the attack area. Wind whipping through here at Downs. Adams out of the back, pass it to Bonacia as they set up in the circle. Mead, long pass across to Bonacia. As now they work it around the back. Adams starting an approach, cutting around, couldn't get a shot off. Now Mead from behind the net looking for a pass, just floats it all the way back to the top. Bonacia off a screen, Trying to cut around. Shot won't go, but she drew contact. She'll have a free position chance, a more limited angle than what she's had her last 2 free position goals. But we'll see what she does here.
Benassi, she's been dangerous. Off these 3 free position opportunities, yes, Jesse, they have not been as straight away of chances, though. This will be her toughest one yet.
Charging in, cutting across, no good. Shot, I don't know if it went off the post or if it went off Bueno or what. And now a pass missing for Needham. But they categorize it as a shot somehow. I guess it was close enough to the post that it technically counted as a shot, which is why Needham gets to maintain possession. Jansen trying to approach now. Nowhere to go. Pass up top, Bonacia. Trying to cut around. Low shot is in. Went for the underhand shot, and Semi Bonacia with her 4th goal of this game, 3rd goal of this quarter, as Needham has doubled up their scoring total in this 3rd quarter alone, and they now lead by 5.
And Sami Bonacia, she has taken the game by storm. An incredible shot there, whipping it from right to left. As you said, underhand. There's just nothing that Bueno can do about that for the Warriors. And she's just dominated in this period.
Sami Bonacia has scored 3 of Needham's 4 goals here in the 3rd quarter as they've outscored Brookline 4-1 in this frame. Off the draw, it's won again by Jansen. Takes it into the attack area, another possession for Needham. This is what can be tough about lacrosse. If you're not, at least trading the draw controls back and forth, then you're not trading possessions. This isn't like basketball or baseball where everyone gets a chance to go on offense. If you're not winning the draws, if you're not winning those loose balls, you're not getting a chance to attack at all. It can turn into a very make-it-take-it style of game as Jansen charges in, shoots and scores. Needham pouring it on here in the 3rd quarter as Lila Jansen with her 1st goal of the day makes it a 9-3 ball game.
And that's exactly how this game is played out, Jesse. Make it, take it is really perfectly right. Brookline having their momentum zapped in this 3rd quarter. Jansen scoring after Bonacia's 3 here in the 3rd, and it just seems that the Warriors are playing a bit more depleted than they were. And even at the beginning of the 3rd quarter, the Warriors scored a goal. They've struggled ever since.
The 2 teams traded goals back and forth to start this quarter, going from 4-2 to 5-3, but since then it's been all Needham. 4 unanswered goals for the Rockets. Off the draw, finally recovered, but a whistle blown against Needham will give it to Brookline. So can Brookline take advantage of this break here as they get their first successful draw in a good bit? But the ball is dropped by Tian, but she recovers it and passes it ahead to Serena Yankowicz. Yankowicz floats it over to Hawkins. Pass down to the corner. Charging in now is Kleinbaum, but walled off. Now runs around the back as Brookline sets up in the circle. Hassenstein surveying and just opts to pass it along the back to Hawkins. That pass dropped, but recovered by Kleinbaum. Back to Hawkins. Hawkins trying to come around the back, no dice. Now pass up top, Tian. Tian looking for a cutting teammate, no one coming open. Now trying to cut across herself, lost the ball, but drew another whistle.
Well, but Brookline here in the offensive zone for the first time, Jesse, in really a long while, with an opportunity to score and climb their way at least a little bit back into this game.
Tien lost the ball there, no foul. As the loose ball being scrummed for, and it's going to be picked up by Jansen. Brookline not able to take advantage of that offensive chance, and now Needham running it the other way. Pass to Verville. Verville across Mead, inside. Adams shoots, but was there a whistle blown, or was that?
Looked like a whistle blown before the shot.
Whistle blown before the shot. You know, as a fan of the sport, it's almost kind of a shame. That was really good ball movement by the Rockets. Would have been a spectacular goal, but instead a free position chance for Sophia Mead with just 9 seconds to go here in the quarter. As Needham trying to get to double digits, and they do. Sophia Mead fires the cannon from distance out of the free position, and Needham now has 10.
And ball don't lie, Jesse. After
so
the
I guess
goal
by
didn't
that,
count, then it goes in.
Yeah, I guess by that. So wait, is the logic there that it was bad for them to call the foul, or that they were correct to call the foul? Because ball don't lie means that it shouldn't have been a foul, so that's why they missed. But now here they scored, so does that mean it should have been a foul, or they shouldn't have called the foul because it stopped the goal?
My thing is it should have been advantage, similar to how it is in soccer. And the fact that they scored it shows that they deserve to get that goal. That's how I'm using it in this situation.
Okay, that works. That works.
I feel like it's a little bit ambiguous. It can go anyway.
Yeah, so just kind of shows the difference between basketball and lacrosse, that we have to clarify what ball don't lie mean. But what doesn't lie right now is the scoreboard, as it shows just how dominant Needham was in that third quarter. At the end of 3, our score, the Needham High Rockets 10, the Brookline High Warriors 3. Needham outscoring Brookline 6-1 in that third quarter, as the Rockets more than doubled up their scoring total from the first half. And with 1 quarter left to play, this is going to be a really tough hole for Brookline to climb out of, if they can even make an attempt to climb out of it at all. Because with how Needham has been dominating in that third quarter, it's going to be a doozy of a task for Brookline to even just turn this into a game.
And the unfortunate truth of the matter for the Warriors is that Needham's not just up big on the scoreboard. They've been outplaying Brookline really ever since they tied the game at 2-2. The Rockets have had the upper hand, and it just seems that they've been physically outmatching the Warriors. They've been able to move way faster past them, a lot of open field space for their attackers, and the Warriors haven't been able to catch up.
That's a good point, Sam. Ever since Brookline took that 2-1 lead at the end of the first quarter, Needham has outscored Brookline 9-1. They outscored them 3-0 in the second, and then 6-1 in the third. As after a shaky start to the first quarter for the Rockets, they have really asserted themselves ever since. So 12 minutes left to play here in this one as we move to the fourth and final quarter. Needham leading Brookline by 7. As Brookline, really offense has been their biggest problem. Just 1 goal scored over the last 2 quarters. And they've got to find a way to generate some more, not just generate some more chances, but to take advantage of those chances. Get better looks at the net, not turn the ball over.
And also, Brookline, they're going to have to take control of the game. They're going to have to be able to control the center in midfield, and that's been the big problem for them so far.
All right, here we go. First draw of the fourth quarter. Up in the air and bouncing around, and picked up by Sophia Safar. Safar running it down the far sideline and gets hit, draws the whistle. Safar had such strong play out of the midfield in the last 6 minutes of the first quarter. And there, a long pass given away, and Needham will take it back.
Well, there for Brookline, 2 players wide open on the right side. Needham committing none of their players to that area. Playing back in defense.
And Brookline just gave it away. Turnovers continuing to plague the Warriors on offense here. Needham now running with it in transition. I believe this is Jill Peabody running with it now. Pass ahead. And further ahead it goes to Sophia Mead as Needham now gets to work on offense. Around the horn it goes. Now Jansen trying to advance. Nowhere to go, well covered. Passes to Bonacia now. Bonacia gets around her defender and scores goal number 5 for herself and number 11 for her team.
What a day Sammy Bonacia has had, shifting her way from side to side there before patting it in, and Brookline has still had no answer for her. 5 goals, nearly half of Needham's total scoring.
And boy, on a play like that, you can't help but look at it and say, what do you do? With how much faster she was than her defender, there really wasn't much chance for her defender to do anything. And like you said, Sam, Bonacia with almost half of Needham's total goals so far today as they now lead the Warriors by 8.
And it's not that Bonacia hasn't been marked tightly, she's just beaten all the defenders.
10 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock. Off the draw. Deflected around and picked up by Bonacia. Bonacia running up with it into the attack end. Passes up to Adams. And they now start working around. Throw it back to the top to Mead. Mead looks like she's going to try and advance. Nowhere to go. And a whistle.
On Brookline, it looks like.
I think you're right. Yeah, looks like you're right. And so
that one going against Serena Yankowicz, number 21 of the Warriors.
Long shot from Mead, and she makes it go from downtown again as Needham takes a 12-3 lead off the 3rd goal of the day for Sophia Mead. And boy, it's 12 goals for Needham, just 4 different goal scorers. 5 from Bonacia, 3 from Mead, 3 from Verville, and 1 from Jansen.
And their stars have shined. That's been the big thing for Needham. We talked about the importance of Brookline's captains showing up today. And Brookline has been physically dominated by the Needham Rockets. Haven't had an answer for them on defense.
You're absolutely right. 9 minutes, 12 seconds now on the clock here in the 4th. Needham leading by 9. Draw doesn't travel very far, and off the deflection, it's picked up by Tien. Brookline getting an offensive chance here as Tien draws a whistle and just keeps moving with it. Pass to the back. Can Brookline finally get another goal, or will they give it away again? They give it away again. Another quick forced turnover by the Needham defense as Bonacia picks it up and races coast to coast to the Needham attack end.
And Benasia untouched and unguarded on her run over.
The Rockets now moving the ball around. Pass to the back. Cross. Out to Benasia. And up top to Mead. Now O'Leary. And now Verville, pass inside Mead, lost the ball. Recovered by O'Leary, pass back to Verville. Verville across to O'Leary. O'Leary, pass Verville. Verville, long pass, too high for Mead. Bouncing into open space, and Hawkins lets it roll out of bounds. Brookline takes over on the Needham turnover. Hawkins cutting through the middle here. Into the attack end. Long pass, Karain. Another long pass, Kleinbaum. And missed. It might have been stopped by
Looked like it
Lashinsky.
came off of Lashinsky.
Oh, there's...
But a whistle was blown before.
Seems to be that way. It looks like it's going to be a free position chance for Lily Kleinbaum here. Kleinbaum's shot stopped by Lashinsky. And along the back, it's rebounded by Jill Peabody for Needham. So Brookline unable to score as Patey running up with it. Floats a long pass up to Mead, who sends it ahead to Jansen. Brookline unable to take advantage of the free position opportunity. And now Needham, with a comfortable 9-goal lead, they can just nonchalantly kill clock here. But Benasia still trying to advance, pass through into traffic, it's knocked loose. Brookline picks it up and draws the whistle as Scarlett Rothstein picks up the ground ball there. Rothstein, pass up Tien. Tien running across midfield. Gets into the attack end.
A whistle blown.
Indeed. Whistle blown against the Needham defense.
But there's one where Maggie Tien was on a good run.
Yeah, it kind of slowed him down a bit, actually. 5 minutes and 40 seconds to go. As Brookline just going to set up in a circle now. Yankowitz looking. Nowhere to go. Gives to Karain. Now to Tien. Tien at the top. Floats pass over to Thibault. Back to Tien. Tien floats inside. Finds an open Amalia Lindgren-Palm, who scores. And Brookline back on the board.
Lindgren-Palm finding her way wide open right in the middle of the Needham defense. Everybody spread out on both sides. Lindgren-Palm just had to simply turn around to shoot it into the left side as nobody was covering her.
Lindgren-Palm from Tien on that play, and really she was just kind of hanging out just a little behind the net over by that right side post, and she just snuck around the back to get open for that goal. Like you said, Sam, all she had to do was turn around and shoot. But big for Brookline as they finally end the scoring streak for Needham at 7 unanswered goals. Score was once 5-3, and then it became 12-3 before Brookline finally able to answer with that goal by Amalia Lindgren-Palm. Off the draw, it rolls out of bounds. It'll be Brookline ball, looks like. Less than 5 minutes left to play here, as at this point, Brookline just hoping to make this score more respectable. Tien Passes along the back, and that pass into traffic intercepted, taken away by number 9 for Needham. As she passes away from the pressure, finds number 7. Running up with it as looks like Needham is bringing in some new players here in the closing minutes of this game as they are firmly in control. Mead from behind the net. Forced into the corner. Pass along the back. That pass juggled but recovered. And a whistle blown. It's going to go against Brookline, but well behind the net here, so not much of a free position chance. She's just going to keep the passes going. Jensen from the top starting to approach, spins, help arrives, and she has to retreat. Now a pass, Benacia knifing her way through, and that one kicked aside by Karin Bueno. A nice save there to prevent Benacia from getting her 6th goal of the game. But Brookline juggling the ball and losing it, but out of bounds Brookline ball. Warriors keep it. Bueno. Up to Bueno as Karin passes to Sydney. 2.5 minutes to go here in this one. Sydney Bueno draws the whistle and gets to bring it into the attack area for Brookline. Quick passing back to Tian, who gives to Hawkins. Throws inside, blocked by Benacia, but Hawkins recovers the loose ball. Tried to pass, but whiffed on it. Was looking for Amalia Lindgren-Palm, who was coming open near the post, but no dice there. And a pass blocked and taken away by the Rockets. Patey, long pass taken off the bounce by Verville. Verville over to Peabody. Peabody looking around, and at this point, Needham can just hold it for the rest of this game as we've got just a minute and a half to play. But Needham's still looking like they're trying to attack as Jansen got hit by the defense from behind to prevent the shot. Sylvie Costin-Graley recovers the loose ball there. So Needham will improve up to a winning record with this one as they'll improve to 2-1. Brookline will suffer their 4th straight loss and drop to 1-4 on the season. As Brookline just trying to get one last chance at the net here with less than a minute to play while trailing by 8.
Well, in these final minutes, Needham's really just applied a constant pressure on the Warriors to finish this one out.
They applied a little too much pressure there as Maggie Tian draws the whistle once again. She'll set up in the free position to try and score her 3rd goal of the game. Wines, fires, and scores. So Tian will finish with 3 goals and 1 assist on the day as Brookline gets their 5th goal with 40 seconds left to play.
And Maggie Tian has that specific way she shoots the ball on those free position chances, shooting it specifically low and a little bit behind. She's been effective today. One of the bright spots for the Warriors.
Couple of bright spots. Maggie Tian still generating points for the team. Sophia Safar had a strong stretch in the transition game in the first quarter, but been a very dominant game for the Needham Rockets as Hawkins finds Tien, and Tien's shot misses wide. And with the clock still ticking, Brookline just trying to get one last score in. Kleinbaum trying to juke, lost the ball, recovered by Karain. Pass to Hawkins, about 10 seconds left. Hawkins' long shot is saved by Lashinsky, and that's going to wrap up your game as the last 5 seconds will tick off the clock, and the final horn will sound, and that is your ball game. The final score here at Downs Field, the Needham High Rockets 12, the Brookline High Warriors 5. As I said, Needham improves to 2-1 on the season, while Brookline falls to 1-4 with their 4th straight loss. A close back-and-forth contest early, but then Needham took control more and more with each successive quarter, especially in the second and third quarters, outscoring Brookline 9-1 during that stretch, as Brookline managed to play, a little more even in the first and fourth quarters, being outscored. I think about actually I think it was about 3-3 outside of that. In fact, Brookline might have scored one more. It might have been 3-2 or something like that. I don't know. I'm struggling to do math right now.
It's okay. It's been a long game.
It's been a long game. What I do have for accurate numbers are the individual point totals for Needham. Sammy Bonacia leading the way with 5 goals. Sophia Mead with 3 goals and 1 assist. Emmy Verville, 3 goals. Lila Jansen with 1 goal. Francesca Adams with 2 assists. And Lisa O'Leary with 1 assist. For Brookline, Maggie Tien leading the way, 3 goals, 1 assist. And then 1 goal each from Amalia Lindgren-Palm and Clara Thibault, and 1 assist from Lily Kleinbaum. And that wraps up the stats. And that's just going to about wrap this one up. Sam, thank you so much for joining me on the broadcast here today. And we're going to wrap this one up and go get warm. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. Alongside Sam Lowenstein, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Remember, if you enjoyed this live stream, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you to all those who chipped in the live chat today. Remember, if there's anything you'd like to say after the live stream is concluded, you can say it in the comments section down below. You can also go down below to the description section of this video, where you can find the link and phone number for our local charity spotlight, the Brookline Education Foundation. You can also find some links related to me, which you can also see in the bottom right corner of your screen. My personal website, jessesports.com, where you can find out more about me, the freelance sports broadcasting services that I provide to various teams, and how you can commission those services for your favorite team. Or if you want to skip past all that, you can email me directly with any questions, requests, or comments you may have. And don't forget to follow me on social media on Instagram and Facebook, where I post highlights from previous live streams. But for this live stream, that's going to do it. Needham 12, Brookline 5 from Downs Field in Brookline, Massachusetts, alongside Sam Lowenstein. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all for watching, and have a good night.